Welcome to the IT Smart Guy podcast, a technology podcast aimed at the modern business owner. And here's your host, Tony Edwards. Hello and welcome to the IT Smart Guy podcast, the tech-based podcast for the modern business owner. My name's Tony, and I'm going to start with an apology. There is no news this week. I've been busy with work, with life, with other stuff that's going on, and I haven't had a chance to do what I normally do and spend a couple of hours scouring the internet for what's going on in the industry to be able to report back to you. So, I apologise. However, there is a silver lining to this. It means you get to the interview a bit quicker. Next episode, however, will be back to normal, and I've already got a juicy topic for you. So, for those of you that have heard of it already, the big ISDN and PSTN switch off that has been talked about for 6 or 7 years now could be delayed. This news came out a couple of days ago, so I'm waiting to find out a little bit more. I'm going to a trade show in London where I'm hoping I might meet up with one or two people that might know something as well, so I can get some feedback from them. So hopefully next time round I'll be having something nice and juicy to talk about. But I digress. Like I said, no news this week. I know, I can hear you, you're very, very upset. Let's go on to the interview. The interview this week comes from serial entrepreneur Steven Northam. He is a local guy to me. I've known him 16, 17 years. He taught me some of my modules at university, which was cool. We're very, very similar age. So being taught by somebody who's a similar age gave a different dynamic. It was almost like friends talking to each other rather than teacher-pupil. So much so, we'd have beers in class and things like that. But I digress. He is also a successful businessman. He has run multiple businesses, from a photography business through to helping somebody with supercars, through to an events business, a biochipping business where they put RFID implants under the skin, helping people with accessibility issues, through to, what else has he done? Incuhive, a big co-working incubation hub or hubs across the Hampshire, Dorset, Wiltshire areas, through to doing some crazy stuff like renovating an armoured truck and converting the front half of a plane into an Airbnb, and being on George Clark's amazing Grand Designs, whatever it's called. I'm sorry, I don't watch TV, so I don't know what the show's actually called. I think I get it right in the interview. But, he's a success, and he's done loads of different things, and I thought it'd be great to have him on the show. So, here's to the interview. I will be back afterwards to discuss Steve's tip. The interview. So we now come to the interview part of the podcast, and I'm really glad that this gentleman has agreed to come on the show. Known him for a long time. I can't even work it out in my head how long I've known this guy. He taught me at university, despite him being younger than me. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's been on the telly. He's done stuff with Darren Brown. It's probably better if he just explains what he's done. So I'll bring him into the podcast now. Please welcome Steve Northam to the podcast. Hi, Steve.
Cheers, Tony. Yeah. I don't know how long ago you were at university. It must have been over 10 years ago.
Yeah. 2011 I graduated, so yeah.
Quite a while ago. Yeah, I've been there a while teaching. So hopefully it helps you. So you did well. So.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Like I said, thank you so much for taking time out to come on the show. Really appreciate it.
Love it.
So if we start with you just doing a brief introduction of who you are and what you've done, that'd be a great way to start, I think.
Okay, I'll try and do it briefly. So, yeah, Steve Northam, classically called a serial entrepreneur, I suppose, these days, because I've done lots and lots of stuff over a sort of period in business. I still teach part time at university, so teach innovation, entrepreneurship, business startup sort of bits and pieces. Um, Background, what have I done? I mean, I started in business at probably about 14 or so, selling fireworks at school, as one does. Didn't start out on the sort of right path, I suppose. It's quite a profitable business, but got in a bit of trouble for doing that, but that was quite good fun. Then what I do, I got into modifying games consoles to play pirate games. So again, going down the right path in life. Uh, then went to university, got into photography, started a photography business that grew quite rapidly. Did sort of fashion photography, nightclub photography, all sorts of stuff. So set up a little company doing that. But really, I suppose I quite like disrupting, breaking the rules, doing things differently. So that led me down the path of doing all sorts of funky stuff, student events, wacky student events, bits and pieces. What else have I done? Had a security company at one point, door staff, snow machines, phone parties. I mean, it just got wackier and wackier. Started investing in student business startups. I had loads of different ideas, bits and pieces on that, supercars and photo booths and photography stuff, all sorts of weird stuff. So students would pitch. Um, what did I do next? Then I probably did bioteq, which was the human microchip stuff, which we can talk about in a bit. So implanting humans with technology, I suppose. And that was the Darren Brown show we did, which Tony mentioned. That shifted to assistive technology, so trying to help disabled people with tech. Then all these little companies I had spinning around. I thought, let's house them somewhere. Opened a company called incuhive, which were business incubation co-working spaces. That grew to quite a big company, about 12 sites. About 18 months ago, I exited out of that company, stepped back, and then had a bit more time, a bit more resource behind me. Bought half a Boeing 737 plane, as one does, off eBay, after a few beers. Oh, that'd be fun, get a plane. Parked that near Marwell Zoo, then converted that into an Airbnb, did George Clark's Amazing Spaces. That's due to open July-ish this year. There's about 4,000 people on the waiting list now to come and stay in this plane. And then I'm doing property stuff, more funky Airbnb conversions, all sorts of stuff, really. So, I mean, that was quite a whirlwind tour, but yeah, I've done loads of weird stuff. Just fun is my driver, Tony. I like to do stuff for fun, ultimately.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I remember. I'm not sure I should say it, but how many people from the university are actually going to listen to this that are staff that are going to care that 15 years ago we drink beer in class with you.
I think there was at least one time when there was a pint arrived at the end of the semester, sort of thing, and yeah,
Yeah,
that's all good. I mean, I think the class ended up being about 3 people by the time um, it
yeah,
got to the end of the semester. And yeah, I mean, I teach for fun. I think the student feedback is that they like that I've been there, I've done it, real world, and it's relaxed. And I'm not Steve the academic as such; it's Steve the business person who can impart some real knowledge and yeah, have some fun along the way. So that was the
yeah,
driver. Hopefully that came across when I taught you. So
yeah. And I think it helped. I think I probably learned more from you than I did anybody else when I was there,
that's good. So
which is weird. Like I said, considering we are there's 6 months age difference between us,
yeah,
and the other people in the other lecturers were that much older. The way we're kind of indoctrinated into education,
yeah.
you're almost indoctrinated to these people know what they're talking about because they're older than you, and it isn't always the case.
No, I think
At
it
least that's
works well
at
for
least
me.
that's
That
what
I'm
I found.
yeah. I mean, I'm more on your level potentially. Hopefully, I still am, even though I'm 40 now. But hopefully, yeah.
I'm
I
41. I'm 41 in a couple of months. So it's all right,
yeah.
you know.
I get the students; they enjoy it, they like it, and I think they learn a lot more if they enjoy your classes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. And it's no different in business when you go to expos and things. And you sit and listen to people talk, and they literally say verbatim what's written on the slides. It's like
yeah,
you might as well
no,
just send me the slides.
no. I'm very much. I don't want to write a book about it. I'll actually go and do it, and I'll tell you how I've done it. Way better, from in my opinion, essentially. So
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you said there that you were, you started off in fireworks and chipping games consoles and things like that, and almost the wrong side of the track to an extent. What made you? I was going to say switch over to the right side of the track, but I don't think there is a right way or a wrong way when it comes to money.
well, it's more a case of when I
There's
end up in
there's both.
jail doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fireworks ended up with a visit from the police. I thought actually this problem. I mean, I was only 14 at the time. Actually, I mean, there's a 14-year-old kid who just love fireworks, things blowing up, etc. We're talking a long time ago now. And the chipping stuff, it wasn't going to be legitimate. I thought I need to go legit, do something proper, grow a business, and that's where the photography sort of came in. Yeah, and grew from there. So
Yeah, because that business changed as well, didn't it? Because it started off being, from memory, student scene.
yeah, Student Scene was
So
the company. So that
where you
went
go
from
take pictures
photography,
in Union and in
student union,
Midtown.
take photos, and then I thought, actually, you know what? There's a better business model here that I can take £5 off of 800 students in one evening and make lots of cash running events, and that grew into the events business.
Yeah.
So eccentric events, which I sold, but she's still around, so still doing stuff. But I get bored once a company works and works well. It's like, well, I've achieved that goal. I need to do something else.
Yeah.
Like, of all the companies I've done, I've still got a few I own and keep, but it's a case of, well, it works now, and I need the next challenge, I suppose. So that's why I bought a plane.
Yeah,
So,
and the whole disruption thing, just when you were talking there about all the things you've done, it's like I remember you doing the photography.
yeah,
I remember you disrupting the graduation photography
yeah.
space.
I still use the graduation one as a case study, so
You
that
know,
was brilliant.
10 quid for photos rather than a 50 quid or whatever it was for the other person.
Yeah.
I've still got mine somewhere on a USB stick, and if
There's a good little business model. So
if you're lucky, I might put one on the screen for YouTube so people can see it.
but again, that was very much there's an opportunity, spot an opportunity, and monetize it. Business, it's what I've been taught to do. It's what I teach people to do, and I just enjoy the disruptive sort of nature, I suppose, of doing things differently. And it's like with the biotech implanting people. I mean, you can't get much more disruptive than putting microchips in people and doing something different. The press pick up on it. It explodes. Ultimately, there's all a business driver behind the scenes. There's always a reason for doing this stuff. If I've annoyed someone or disrupted, there's definitely a reason for doing it. It's not that I just like to piss people off, but it's like there's a business case behind it. So I'm not just a nutcase, but yeah, there's definitely a driver behind it.
So let's talk about bioteq because you mentioned it a couple of times. What made you think? What was the business case behind starting that up?
So I monitor trends, social media trends, news, etc., techie sort of stuff. Implanting humans with technology was starting to bubble up. There were some in the States doing it. There wasn't anyone in the UK doing it. So I thought, here's an opportunity. Let's take on this market, cover the UK sort of market. I like tech, obviously, and techie stuff. So yeah, put a microchip in my hand so I could open the door. Predominantly, it was at incuhive offices. I could open the doors to the offices, set up my house with a swipe card, so open the front door to that. And really, it was a party trick. And again, it's just a fun, interesting company to set up, do some research around it, develop this idea. Ended up in Canary Wharf at MasterCard and Visa, so looking at payments, all sorts of funky things came out of it. Loads of TV shows, obviously the Netflix stuff. For actually, really, what problem am I solving? I'm not really for anyone. So I mean, it's just a trick that you can swipe your hand. You don't have to use a key. It's no different from having a fob, this sort of stuff. But for actually,
cooler.
yeah, I mean, ultimately, I thought, what is the problem? Well, disabled people, this could be a solution for them, which is how I met Alex Lewis via Jeff Watson, who's a doctor who looked after him, who was involved in the company. I thought, actually, there's a business model here to develop assistive technology where you could implant someone with some tech, like the microchip implants. If they haven't got arms, for example, or hands, or can't use keys, that can open doors for them. And that will sort of branched out into a whole new area. And it's all about the problem solution fit, essentially. What's the problem someone's got, and can I provide an innovative new solution which helps them out? And that was all going swimmingly. COVID came along, and then everyone started banging on about COVID vaccines, Bill Gates microchipping people, all sorts of weird stuff. That wasn't great for biotech. But in the background, it's still doing research, development bits and pieces, still do some chipping now and then. And it's just really bubbling up, waiting for, well, it's the all seeing, all dancing chip, which could be contactless payments, your ID, unlock your car, the whole lot, embedded in your hand. And 10, 15 years, I mean, we'll probably get there and it'll be commonplace. I mean, people think it's weird now, but I say to most people, imagine your iPhone sort of 20 years ago. We're doing this, video calling, and I mean, tech moves quick. So I think lots of people will jump onto it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, having a chip in your hand is no different to having a watch on your wrist, is it?
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's more convenient.
Yeah, you can't lose it. I mean, my driver is, if I'm slightly inebriated, I can open the front door easily just by whacking it with my hand rather than trying to put a key. So that's one of the benefits. I don't know if you should. I don't know if I should be saying all this stuff.
It also won't wake your wife up if you're slightly inebriated. Opening your keys and things. It just.
But yeah, helping disabled people. That was the driver, and yeah, it works really well. So.
But probably your biggest business success has probably been incuhive.
Yep.
What was the driver behind, again, starting incuhive?
Essentially, it was
to bring some of your businesses together, so they're all.
Yes, I had lots of different companies, student startups. I really just thought I need a space where they can all hang out together because it would be fun and they can all bounce ideas off each other, help each other, and that's where like the incubator sort of started. Incuhive started as an incubator to help grow and develop businesses, student startups, bits and pieces like that. And this is like 10 years ago, before co-working really kicked off. It was a big thing. Then it sort of molded into the co-work model with the incubation. So you could take space, desk space, office space, but you get the help and support, which again was very new at the time. Loads of people do it now. And then COVID hit, and really COVID was actually a massive driver for incuhive, that everyone changed the way they work. They were going to change anyway and move away from the office. That was going to happen, but COVID accelerated it over like a year. Done. Everyone wants co-work space. Everyone wants to move into like desk rentals. It just skyrocketed from there, and yeah, it grew quite rapidly. Got up to, I think about 12 different sites were open, and yeah, it was about 1,000 people across all different sites using the space. So it was working really well. But again, from my point of view, well, it works now. It makes X amount, etc. I've achieved the goal. Opening another site is not particularly motivating. Doing 10 more, it's like, well, let's just open the office space, ultimately. And you end up managing people, and I don't particularly like people, so it's just like, it's a pain. So I'm the creative, yeah, the creative, fun, innovative, do funky stuff. Once it makes a quid or a million quid, you know, I've done it. Okay, move on, next one. But that's the classic entrepreneurial mindset, I suppose. That if you like that, and the way I think is, it's goal orientated. Can I do that? Boom, I've done it. And one of the big ones of incuhive was the site I'm at currently, still got an office here, was the deal with IBM, where we took on a huge site up at IBM. What, you frozen, Tone?
Oh.
Damn, you're back.
Damn you, Starlink. I said, are you allowed to say IBM? Because obviously, I remember, because I worked for you for a little while. and there was a whole thing where wouldn't let you say IBM, wasn't there?
Well, they're very protective of the brand and stuff, and yeah, we sort of understood all that. So yeah, up at Hersley, I suppose. So, but I mean, yeah, they collaborate with us, do bits and
Yeah,
pieces, so it's all sort of worked out. But it's very new to them as a massive corporate. They'd never done a deal where they sort of given space away to some small company to come and let the public in, and it was very different, very new. Very alien to me because I'm definitely not in the corporate world or operate in any way. I mean, if I want to do something, I just go and do it and see what happens. So, but yeah, it worked really well. That grew. There was an opportunity to exit. I thought, you know what, done it. I've achieved it. I've won the awards. I've done this. It's worked really well. Let's step back, do something else. So now it's really a case of focus on the fun, funky playing conversions, that sort of stuff. Love the teaching, the university side, so really back into that. And yeah, just do something different, I suppose, is the next step. So help people like you carry on doing what they're trying to do. So that's the goal, I suppose.
yeah, and I think I say it to you every time I see you. I always, I'm always grateful for any advice and stuff that you provide.
Yeah,
And likewise, anything I can do to help you. We've
yeah,
got to do is ask, and I'm there. Like
yeah,
with the Dragon's Den thing at the
yeah,
end of last year, which was great fun.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think,
you're coming into a guest lecture soon, Tony. So we'll get you a guest speaking at a university sort of teaching session. So I think it'd be fun. And again, you're real world. You've been there. You've done it.
yeah,
So you were a student. You've been in a job. You've started a business. You've made it successful. The students just lap that up
yeah,
because rather than an academic as such who's done the research, read the books, you've been there. You've done it. Love it, and the students really appreciate that. So
yeah. And I'm very much of the ilk right now. If I want to, I think feel like I'm in a position where I'm ready to start giving back
yeah,
to like the next generation. Whereas 10 years ago, when I was in an employed role, it would never have happened in a million years.
I know, yeah, yeah. Which that's the best bit about, well, from my point of view, running your own business is that ultimately you can do some other interesting stuff off the back of it. So
Yeah,
it
like
worked. Yeah,
convert planes and go on telly with George Clark.
yeah, I mean that was just a drunk purchase on eBay. So
Yeah, and I remember you thinking, I remember you saying, I'm going to buy this plane.
yeah, I think I put it on LinkedIn. I said
Well,
I've got the
again,
opportunity to buy
I
a
was
plane.
working at incuhive with you at the time, and you just went, I'm going to buy a plane. You came
Yeah,
into, I think we were still in the office down on the first floor as you walk in
yeah,
the main front door, and we were in just in on
yeah.
in on the right. You came in to me and George, and we're like, I think I'm going to buy a plane.
Oh, you know, as one does. I mean,
Yeah,
in my world, it's totally normal. I think, oh, you know what? I went tank shopping the other day to try and buy a tank because I thought, well, a tank would be fun. Let's buy a proper tank as the next Airbnb sort of project. And the problem is that the ideas now just get wackier and bigger and more ridiculous. So I do have to be a bit careful about what I end up trying to do. So, but it's fun. So,
I think that's the thing. The theme of this, of everything you've done is not just about making money. It's about doing it and having fun, doing stuff that you enjoy.
yeah, it's what I tell the students
And
and
if you
everyone.
make
The
money,
more
if
you
you make
enjoy it,
money on the way, great.
well, yeah, the more you enjoy doing something, the more passionate you are about doing it, the more money you're going to make anyway. It's almost like secondary. If
Yeah,
you love what you do, bounce out of bed every morning and can't wait to do it, you'll end up making a fortune
yeah,
because you're putting so much effort into it. It's a win-win, really. You've got all you need is the opportunity to be able to do that. And I think that's what you've gone through is that once you're employed and you're paying a mortgage, you've got kids, etc., it's very hard to make that jump. If you can, absolute winner. It'll change your world. So if it works, obviously. So
you,
it won't always work. Yeah.
you
Yeah, it's
just need
not that
something like a
simple.
pandemic to start the ball rolling.
Yeah. So just that sort of push. Something's gone wrong, and they made redundant, whatever, and just go. You know what? Change your life and do your own thing. And everyone I know who's done it never look back. So best thing they could do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what how I feel. Would I ever would I ever go back and get a job? I mean, if everything
If
went
needed be,
tits
yeah.
up, yeah, I probably I would, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be the same.
No.
because you're then answering to somebody again, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, I think once you've had a taste of being your own boss, it's very difficult to
Oh God, yeah.
to go back.
Yeah. I mean, I think entrepreneurs in general, people are very difficult to manage as well. I mean, I have a manager at university, but I mean, they sort of just leave me alone to. They know I'll do the stuff, I'll deliver it. I'm probably unmanageable ultimately, but yeah, I get on with stuff, I do it, and everyone's happy. I love doing it, so I suppose that's why it works. Is I enjoy doing it and actually want to do it. So
Yeah, and you can see that from from the students. Like I said, when I was up in end of November, early December, doing the whole pitching thing, you can
yeah,
see how
Dragon's Den.
much
Yeah,
you can see how much the students enjoyed. Not just that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were a lot of them that were extremely nervous, but
yeah,
you can tell how passionate they are, how much
yeah.
they've learned. Because some of the stuff they were coming out with, I'm like, I didn't learn that at university.
Yeah, they all did really well. So well, as always, it's trying to deliver the real world, trying to give my experience of what I've done, how it's worked, how it hasn't worked. It's not in a textbook.
No.
It's the only way you're going to learn this is you go do it.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
can tell you what I've done. You can try the same thing. Don't listen to me. Just go try and do it. That's the best way. Obviously, that doesn't work in every instance. I mean, if you want to be a doctor and doing brain surgery, probably don't just go out there and try it and do it. But in the business world, just do stuff. It works really well. So,
Brilliant. Well, I know how busy you are. I want to just thank you for your time. If you had one thing that you would tell the listeners, or you advise the listeners to do when it comes to running a business or starting a business, what would it be?
do it for the fun, the love, the passion, and everything else will work around that. So no matter what, don't chase money. I would never start a business or get involved in a business just to make money. Do it because it makes you jump out of bed excited to get on with the day. Do that and you'll make an absolute fortune anyway. So it's win-win. Passion, fun, that's the driver.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it, and we'll end the recording there. So, what did you think? Awesome, right? Great guy. Steve, thanks so much for coming on the show. You don't know how much it meant to me. I truly cherish our friendship that we've built over the last however many years. And I just want to thank you for everything you've done to support me during and before starting my business. So, your tip: have fun. It's easier said than done, isn't it? Having fun when you're trying to run a business, because when you start, or even when you're 3 or 4, 5 years in, it might still just be that one person in the business. It might just be you. So how can you have fun if it's just you? Because you've got to wear the IT support hat, the finance hat, the sales hat, the marketing hat. You've got to make the tea, sweep the floor, do everything. Just find a little bit of fun every day. Do something that you don't normally do. It could just be on your lunch break, if you take one. You go out for a walk, go for a jog, go to the gym. Do something that gets your mind pumping, your body pumping. If you've got a basketball hoop, just go and throw hoops for 5 minutes. I did it the other day. It was brilliant. I haven't done that properly for years, probably since university, in fact. So, yeah, being able to just stand outside when it wasn't raining and just throw hoops for 5 minutes just took my mind off things, and I went back to work with some more positive stuff going on in the brain. So it's amazing what having a little bit of fun can do. Try it. That's it for today. Like I said, short episode, but I hope you get something from it. I honestly appreciate every single person that listens to the show, that watches the show on YouTube. Next week or next time round, it will be back to normal. What else is there to talk about? Not much. Remember, we've got a dedicated YouTube channel for the podcast now, so go and give it a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a review on your platform of choice. Without your reviews, I can't change stuff. I can't get any better because I don't know what it is you're listening to, what you like, what you don't. So, go and do that. You might have also seen that I appeared on the Newton's Nuggets podcast again recently. It's always great to have a conversation with Paul and Jesse. Have a listen to that. I haven't been on any others for a while, but I have been doing a fair bit of speaking, which has been pretty cool. So I've done 2 networking events where I've given either a 10-minute talk or I've hosted the meeting, which is good for practice. I am going to the Super Ops Super Summit on the 19th of April. And I'm on a panel there with Steve McCormack of Tublog, Gareth Westwood and Alex Harvey, both who are MSP owners like myself. We're going to be talking about nimble MSPs, which is going to be great. Completely different, talking to small business owners about their IT and their security and things like that, to talking to other MSPs about your business, but it's all experience. And then potentially I'll be doing a talk for the FSB at the end of the month as well. So a nice chunky bit of speaking coming through as well, which is something I never thought I would do, let alone talk on a podcast, which is probably easier in comparison, I think, because it's just me talking into a camera and a microphone. And I only have to look at myself, which has its pros and its cons, I suppose. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to leave you to it. Have a great one. Thanks for listening to the IT Smart Guy podcast. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please do consider to like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice.